You are now listening to the podcast for geeks and the stuff they love, where each week we'll talk about everything from anime to movies, games, and prop collecting with the people who create and love it. I'm Jeromy.
I'm Vinz.
And I'm James.
And this is your Geek Fix.
Let's call this show and tell, shall we? Because this is show and tell. Like back in school, you got to bring stuff and show it off. I'm not really showing anything today, but Vinz has been cranking out stuff. To James and I, we get to see these things, but I keep saying to Vince, I'm like, I hope you're documenting this. Right?
Nope.
We get the sneaky preview.
Yeah. Because I want to see him turn it out on his channel or something with some instructions, because he's been, and I know that some of the stuff you've been doing are things that other people have made before, and you're following some of their things, but at the same time, like you're building this stuff, you're doing your own twists on things and some unique things. Something you did get a little chance to talk a little bit about the prop that you purchased, but not so much about what it can actually do now and stuff. Which, how long? It couldn't have been more than a couple of weeks. It seems like. Yep. I mean, seems like you made it into something pretty quick. Yeah. You want to tell us about it? It isn't there in the room with you, is it, or do you have it close by?
Yeah, but it's not portable in a way that I can just lift it up and show it to
you.
Okay.
That's all
it's
good.
real heavy.
I've got clips. Okay.
Yeah. Maybe I could shoot some pictures afterwards. But
okay.
So basically, it's a while back on Facebook, there was a Star Wars room builders group that I joined, and was this guy in the UK who said, "Hey, I purchased a warehouse full of props from a TV show or movie, and in it are several hard cases that have like a keyboard screen and everything. It looks like a bit of a technical device or a scanner or whatever suitcase.
A screen-used prop."
Yeah. Well, we didn't know what it was exactly because the guy just bought it sight unseen, thinking he could turn a profit. But then the seller was pretty vague about it. He said, "Yeah, it's about the Megan movie, like the Robot Girl movie that came out recently." And I looked at it, rented the movie, went through the scenes, and I couldn't find anything related to a suitcase
not
like
Megan.
that. No, it wasn't Megan. So I became an overnight expert in Robot Girl versus government movies, because then he said it was Hannah, and I was like, okay, Hannah. So I looked at the movie Hannah, and what I didn't know is that there was a spin-off
TV series
inspired by a TV series that Amazon Prime picked up a while back. So that was from the show Hannah. It was in the final episode where they were, spoilers, I guess. They were using it to track her. And it was a background prop. I have some screenshots where the actual prop that I have is being used. But the guy, wanted to get rid of it pretty soon because he had like 15 of those ones, and I was the first one to contact him, so I got the better one or the best one, like the hero version of it. So it's basically a Pelican case which you can open up, and on the top is like a touchscreen and some antennas and a speaker and some other stuff. It looks really high tech. On the bottom is like a full metal keyboard, a joystick, and some other buttons that light up and all that kind of stuff. So it looked pretty cool, but it was pretty banged up because it's a prop. It's a TV show prop, and TV show magic is basically hot glue and prayers that keeps it alive for the few minutes that it has to be on screen, and then it just falls apart and disintegrates. But same with the Pip-Boy kit. I'm a guy who likes to make things functional. I saw really a big potential here. Not so much as a Star Wars prop, but as a Ghostbusters prop, because I'm also a Ghostbusters cosplayer, along with a Star Wars collector and all that. So I saw potential there, and I bought it pretty cheap, to be honest, because he was willing to meet in the middle and cover the shipping, because it's a really heavy thing. Because of the touchscreen inside. There's a touchscreen inside that actually works, and it's
I didn't know it was a touchscreen when you showed it before.
No. I didn't know either until I read the label and thought it was USB. The guy didn't even know it was a touchscreen. So I found out that the actual keyboard is a off-the-shelf. Well, some keyboard that is off the shelf that is full metal, like for I don't know what kind of military application, but it has USB, so that worked.
Yeah. It has a trackpad on it too, right?
Yeah, and that works too.
The picture.
Yeah, so I plugged everything into my PC and everything popped up. I just looked at the serials, installed drivers, everything worked. So the big challenge was there to make it work on a Raspberry Pi, and lo and behold, it just accepts it as a USB device, and the screen works as touchscreen, and the keyboard works as a touchscreen. So now I basically built in a Raspberry Pi with the wireless functionality and Bluetooth, like a 3B Plus or something with extra RAM. Got a case for it. I got a I/O screw terminal shield for it, so I can hook up the buttons of the case. And I started working with it, but it was very much hot glue and very dingy. Like there was wood hot glued together to make sure that the keyboard doesn't sag. And there was like a whole mess of cables in there, and it was all hot glued together. It was
they probably did this in the same day it filmed.
Yeah, most likely. Yeah. Well, but it was pretty well. I mean, it was laser cut or something because the actual plates are cut to fit like the screen and the keyboard and everything. That was cut out really nicely. So it was a prop that didn't do much. So I decided to rewire it and look at stuff. I kind of popped the breaker a couple of times by messing around with the cables inside because it was an English prop and it accepted English voltage and all that kind of stuff. And I figured out it had a special connector, a Nutric connector, which by making Ghostbusters props, I found out is used for the Afterlife Proton one. So by having that knowledge, I found a cable that accepts like European Schuko adapters. Plugged it in, and it worked. Like the LEDs light up, and everything. Like the screen would light up. So everything is now running from a singular cable. And I installed Raspberry OS in there, and I built some dashboards that look very Ghostbustery and retro. And I'm going to put some emulators on there so you can play Ghostbusters video games on it. And it basically turned into... Yeah, and it turned into what I call the Poltergeist, which is an acronym for something techno-babbly. Because it's fun. I don't know the exact thing. I'll link it somewhere, but it's
you
a
put
backronym.
The Tobin stuff on there too, or
well, the Tobin stuff is a different story altogether, but the database is ready and I can use it. I can host it, and so there's a digital database that I've been making that has all the classifications of the CDI system that is being used by the Ghostbusters to classify ghosts. With icons and everything in there. It's on a website that I host myself, which is just, in private use right now. But before we started recording this podcast, I had a chat with our representative from the Ghostbusters Netherlands group, who initially made the Ghostbusters website, and he wants to work with me in making it into an actual, like a pest control library kind of thing, where you could click through and say, that kind of stuff. So I'm working on that, but that's a separate project. I'm currently working on a...
GB fans too. See, I mean, they're open to collaborate and post things and stuff all the time.
Well, I sent my Poltergeist stuff to Ghostbusters News, but Jason didn't really get back to it at all.
Oh, really?
Spirits Unleashed really liked it. They were happy to see that, but I think because it's a prop that I appropriated, maybe I don't know where the guy got it from, but maybe because it's a prop that was already used for something else, and I just repurposed it. It's not that sexy of a thing to show, I guess, but I mean it looks cool. I think
we're trying again.
So I don't know, but I'm building an add-on called Archive, which is also a backronym for something that allows you to sort of scan ghost traps and put it into the Tobin database with the Poltergeist case.
What's your acronym? Now I'm all curious because you said for something.
I work with ChatGPT to figure out how these things are going to be called, and they just give me a list of possible acronyms for.
So they call it Archive,
but it's it had something to do with actor containment, whatever.
Okay.
I'll just look it up later, but that's going pretty well. So it's basically a toolbox where you can drop in a trap that's full of breeblies and stuff like that. I'll share some pictures. Because I've been painting it and weathering it today in the morning. But
very cool.
So yeah, building some custom props. Hopefully also to be able to go to conventions and go to
Dancing Toaster.
Fancy toasters. But I've tried a relay making that one. I think I added too much voltage and one of the motors just ejected from itself.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so you have like these motors that go into car doors that open up the locks, right?
Yeah.
Those are actuators, and I think I don't know what happened, but
I think
like
it's solenoids in there. Oh, okay, solenoids.
Yeah, but these were kind of, maybe given too much voltage, I guess, by accident, and one of them just shut out. So like the pin that goes up and down,
oh no,
kind of ejected itself, and magic smoke appeared. So it's on hold for now. But then I made the kitchen utensil device meter, which is the KUD meter, which is the one with the spatula and the
colander
strainer
thing on the end. Yeah.
And I found out, and maybe in the future or something, we can do a video about it. But I found this really cool little chip called a Zhao from Seed Studios that is like super tiny. That would, is open source and would allow you to drive LEDs and dials and everything really cheaply and really easily. So maybe we could do a little episode on that, because I think a lot of people making props would find it really interesting. And myself, I'm thinking of returning to my old Pip-Boy project and making it more compact using that same chip, because now I know
small programmable stuff is probably the biggest key to trying to make different props. I mean, it's hard to do otherwise. So I mean, that's
and I'm
cool.
working with e-ink displays now, which are fun because they stay powered on even without having power, because they just the crystals just stay static after the power is lost. That's also a very fun way to handle stuff. So building a lot of props. So that's been very therapeutic for me.
Well,
and
you're doing it fast. I'm impressed. Yeah. So send me some pictures and things so I'll put them on here. And if you're listening to this on your podcast device, you can probably go to I'll put them in the community section also on our YouTube channel. So, but yeah. Stay tuned, because Vinz is got more things coming along and stuff, and I might also revisit some Ghostbuster related things that I've done, because new things have come out and some new opportunities that come along, and there is a new movie on its way. So and I actually know somebody that's now tied to that project, so they haven't done anything yet, but at the same time, maybe we can also get an inside view. Would be pretty cool. So if you've enjoyed this podcast and want more, stay tuned for that, but also check out our channel, join the community on YouTube that goes by the same name, your Geek Fix. Be sure to check out Vinz on Twitter at massivedmg_ and on his YouTube channel, massivedmg. Check out James at Mr. Malto4 on Instagram and the Replica Prop Forum. We also want to hear from you, so be sure to send your questions, stories, and other projects to yourgeekfix@gmail.com. In the meantime, this has been your Geek Fix.